It is no longer news that Ooni of Ife and his ex-queen Naomi have been separated for a while now. This Naomi made clear to her followers on Instagram through a lengthy post that she made. Some people, they find it very offensive and they've been coming at her because of that. Some people also say that she has desecrated the throne, that what she did was a taboo, that she doesn't have any right to end a marriage that was not contracted on social media, making it so open. At the same time, castigating the king. According to Yoruba tradition, as a former queen, that she's not supposed to make any public comment. If she doesn't want to stay in the palace again, she is supposed to pack her bags and baggages and leave without disclosing how they live in the palace. Hi guys, you're watching Mchikky series. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for your support. I quite appreciate that. It's good to have you around again. And if you're new to this channel, thank you for clicking on this video. Make yourself comfortable as we get right into this video. So there has been lots of reaction since ex-queen to Ooni of Ife announced her separation from the king on her Instagram post. A lot of people have been coming at her. There has been lots of comments, lots of reactions. Some people are saying that she desecrated the throne, that this is a taboo and it's a very big blow to the throne, that no king has ever received this kind of separation, not to talk of foremost monarch in their history. And there are some things they stated that she didn't do well, because as a queen, according to Yoruba tradition, she's not supposed to respond publicly to the king. If she is not happy with what is happening, then once she leaves the palace, she keeps everything to herself. And some people believe that she committed taboo and sacrilege on the part of Yoruba culture. According to them, Ooni of Ife is a revered king, first monarch in Yoruba kingdom. And after God, he comes. He is meant to be worshipped. The way to show respect to him, if you're a man, is that you prostrate. Then if you're a woman, you kneel down. In the olden days, the wives of the king are forbidden from looking the king in the face, not to talk of raising their voices against the monarch. According to this write-up, the king is regarded as second almighty God in Yoruba tradition. The wives of the king in Yoruba land are forbidden from looking the king in the face, not to talk of raising a voice against the exalted monarch. But with the recent happening in the house of Oduduwa, especially with the loudly voiced divorce notice by Olori Naomi desecreted, former wife of Ooni of Ife, Oba Adeyeye Ogunwosi Ojaja II, has really dealt a fatal blow on the revered throne of Ife in particular, and also causing damage to Yoruba culture and tradition in general. That never in Yoruba history has such damage and embarrassment and humiliation been handed down to a lesser king, not to talk of Ooni of Ife, by an estranged wife who ought not to talk to any living mortal about the Kabiyesi. According to Yoruba tradition, if your wife is having problem with the king, she's not supposed to voice it out. She's just supposed to suck it in and deal with it. She's not supposed to open her mouth to say it, not to talk of coming to social media to make a public notice about it. They're saying that she is expected to simply walk away from royal house and live quietly in a far distance from the palace. That means when she leaves the palace, she goes to a very far place and leaves. She's not even supposed to be seen in any way close to the town. This was according to the olden tradition. But there are also pain that she announced it on social media. That's the main bone of contention. They said that she has desecrated the throne, that this is unheard in any royal palace in Yoruba land. The king is not a one-wife monarch. He has every grace to marry many wives and divorce any queen that is disrespectful or unworthy, and not the other way around, where the queen announced her separation from the king on social media, not minding that the revered king did not marry Naomi through social media in October 2018. That means the person that's supposed to marry is the person that understands their tradition, that is ready to do whatever the tradition says, not somebody who is even a prophetess, who has a different religion from what the king has, because it will contradict things. The kind of religion that she's practicing doesn't go hand in hand with the African traditional religion, which is supposed to be practiced in the palace. They went further to say that another gesture of desecration of the royal throne is that the ex-Olori proceeded to say many unprintable words against the revered monarch and affirm certain words that would continue to hurt her and her innocent prince, her innocent product of 3 years association, tradition, Tadenikawo. It's against Yoruba custom and common sense for Naomi to say this about Ooni of Ife, that she did her best to endure and made the marriage work many times. And also the way she described the monarch, she said His Majesty has a picture he would love the people to see and perceive him as, and another one which is true self. Today, she announced the beginning of a new dawn and the close of a chapter, that this is a serious taboo, and it seems the ex-queen did not realize that there is no perfect marriage anywhere. Husbands and wives quarrel time and again, that every stable marriage is a harvest of tremendous sacrifices by the two parties involved in it. Naomi did not think of the repercussion and the long-term effect of putting domestic issues on social media. The most interesting thing is that he said that every marriage is tremendous sacrifices of the two parties involved. But from what he's writing here, it shows that it's whatever the king says that will be done, that the wife does not have any say. So in that case, the king needs to marry a traditional woman. Anybody who doesn't believe in the core tradition is not supposed to be chosen as his wife. And I think that's the reason why Ifa priest said that they need to be consulting oracle before they choose their wife. Based on what is written here, is the king that has the final say. And that's what I understand from the tradition. That people are still wondering what has gone wrong between the king and the ex-queen within 3 months leading to the divorce. They saw her praising the king during his 47th birthday in October, and she is here in December writing her separation notice that nobody can easily say. People cannot fathom what is the main problem, and the king has also not come out to say anything about this notice. So they're not taking it lightly. They believe that it is an insult to the throne, and they hold it against her that she has desecrated the throne. So for people waiting to hear the reason why Olori Naomi left the palace, you wait till thy kingdom come. Even the Edo lady that left, she has not been able to say her story. So bear it in mind that Naomi saw what is more than her. What she saw that made her to leave the palace is what she could not cope with. Otherwise, she would have stayed. Based on what people said during this marriage, when they were consummating this marriage, that the marriage has even failed before she entered. If it's what she would have been able to endure, she would have put her head there and carried it. But bear it in mind that what she saw is not what she can endure. That was why she was on the run. I salute her courage. It's not easy to leave a marriage, not to talk of when you're married to an influential man, a traditional ruler. You know what it means if you say you are leaving, or when you leave, so many pressures coming from left, right and center trying to convince you to come back. Some people, they might even go all out to find a way to harm the person. And during my last video, I talked about doing sacrifices and appeasing the gods. And some people came for me saying that they're a Christian king. Anyway, I don't believe there's anything like Christian king, because as a traditional ruler, you're supposed to abide by the tradition of your own people, the religion of your own people, and not foreign religion. And even this report also affirms it, that there are particular places in the palace, if you're not initiated, you dare not go there. Which means you have to be initiated for you to access certain part of the palace. Otherwise, whatever you see, you take. Stories have it that there was one tragedy in the palace a couple of years back. During the celebration of Olojo festival, an intimate friend of the Ooni of Ife, late Oba Sijuwade Okunade, ventured into a restricted area in the palace, and the man, popularly known as Gulda Man, and clearly not initiated, mistakenly bumped into a restricted area in the palace to see the king, where the latter was performing certain rites with the deities, and the king friend reportedly collapsed and passed on. That is the kind of power the royal palace possess and command when it comes to tradition, that certain areas are not for ordinary mortals. And somebody is telling me that they have Christian king. I don't know how he carries on with the tradition and sacrifices. So finally, they say that women should be placed in their cultural places in the palace, and no Olori should be pampered to the point of dragging the cherished culture of Yoruba land to the mud, as Naomi has done. That Yoruba monarch and Ife royalty remain the envy of the world, and every effort should be made to sustain their primary values. So at the end of the day, they're not happy with what Naomi did, but it's quite unfortunate. When they're picking the queen, they would have picked somebody who is more traditional. Since the tradition is very important, the king is the one that has final say in the marriage, then they need to consult Ifa oracle for a traditional wife. From all indications, due to patriarchy, the king will not bow for anybody, and the king has his own laid down rules in his palace. He cannot change because of his wife. So it's also good, before they choose the wife, they look for somebody who is very traditional, that will follow suit with all the laws and tradition of the kingdom. Palace has its own rules, it has its own regulations. So all the aspiring queens should try and make their investigation before they get into the palace, before they get entangled with a king. So you better study the palace and all its rules and guidelines before you jump into it. Most importantly, ask questions. Like I said before, and I keep saying it, Prophetess Naomi never has any business with the palace. She is a prophetess. A prophetess does not have business with the palace. So having said that, let me know what you guys think. So guys, let me know what you think about this. I'm gonna sign off here. Stay healthy and safe. Remember to share this video with family and friends if you love it, and subscribe to the channel if you've not done already. And I'm gonna catch you guys in my next video. Bye and remain blessed.